Hello fellow flyers, this is Howard Forder from ForderLearnToFly. Here we are at Toronto Island Airport in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now I've got labels turned on and I'm using a drone camera so I can just watch what's happening at runway 26. Now this is live traffic, meaning any one of you could join me right now and we would see your tag, we would see your airplane, and you're going to find as we use this feature, you're going to find people who don't follow the rules. So they'll be sitting on top of each other, they'll be behind each other, they'll be landing in opposite directions. So this kind of hurts for those of us who know how to fly and we actually are pilots. But for the fun of simulation and for the fun of flying, without a controller here to control things, people will do just whatever they want. Now for serious practice, I would turn off these labels, and for serious practice, I would turn off the live traffic. Here you can see someone coming in, trying to land at the end of the runway. But you know, this is fun stuff, and there we see, it looks like a Boeing 747 just spawned at the threshold of 26. We've got, what's that person's name? Babiak at 6:25. He might be circling around for a landing. You never know. And so there it is, the 747 getting ready to go. So, you know, this part here honestly is unrealistic. It's not what you'd normally see at an airport, of course. Two planes wouldn't take off like that, certainly two planes of different sizes. But, you know, you can even follow these guys, you know, with the drone camera. You can just turn it around and say, I think I'll just follow them, see what's happening. But, you know, the part I really want to show you guys is actually getting in a plane and going. And so what we'll do is we'll just come back over here to where our plane is. Let's go find our plane. As you know, I'll use a Cessna 172, the most produced airplane in the world. What is there, like 40,000 of them? Anyway, that's what we'll do. Let's get down to ground level. Let's go over and find our plane. Let's jump in and let's go for a circuit. Now, what I really want to show you is certainly the graphics. Everyone talks about it. All the beta testers, alpha testers have been talking about the graphics. But what we want to see is, like, there's the Toronto skyline behind us, and this really is Toronto Island Airport. It really does have these red barriers. It really does have these cargo things laying around, cargo pods over here also, and you know, cars. And this really is the most realistic I've ever seen. And and a lot of you know I have used a lot of the add-on packages that go with this. Over here is the ferry that would come over, sitting there at the dock. And you can see there's a lot of traffic in the skies. Here I am on top of the building. And this is actually a very good vantage point to be sitting to watch traffic go back and forth. So this drone camera comes with Flight Simulator and is very handy to look around. It's very handy to walk around. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to just go over here, get into our plane and go. This is us right here in this black and white Cessna. So let's get in there and let's go for a ride. Now let me just do a quick walk around here and let's just see what's happening. And this is what you can do with this, is do a walk around, check things. Now I'm still not used to using the controls of the drone camera, so I'm having trouble getting in and out and looking at things. But you can get used to doing that. You can get really close in there, and you can even get into the cockpit. Now right now the doors don't open yet. They will in a future release. And a couple other things that aren't happening. I can't use my multi-monitors. I'm used to having my side monitors, so there's just one. And third, there's no replay. All right, so typically what we'll do is we'll do a flight from the cockpit doing proper controls, proper speeds, and then we can go outside the plane on replay and capture some good footage of the plane flying properly. Well, here I'm going to have to just capture it all live. I'll do outside views, inside views, etc. So let's go inside. I've already got Betty in there ready to go flying, so Betty's coming with us. Let me just, you can see I'm playing with the drone here. I'm having trouble. So let me just say this. I'm forgetting which one goes up and down. There we go. Down and in. Down and in. There we go. Now we're inside the Cessna. Perfect. A little bit up, a little bit down. Let's not play with the drone anymore. I'm not doing so well with it. So let's change the view now. We're going to go into the cockpit in the normal view, and I'll just hit the insert key here and get back into the normal view. There we go. That's the normal view. All right, so, and here we are cold and dark. Now what I want to do is just give you an idea here. Your typical yoke controls for looking around. There's my left, which is great. You always need a left and a right look. And then it has a couple of nice views in here. There's a look over the hood, which is really nice for landing. You get to see the hood over here, right here. And then come back to normal. This, most people call this the normal view, and step back some more, go in more so you can see the panel, and even more so you can see backup instruments. Now, apart from all of that, you can move around using the right click on the mouse and do more things. I want to look down and make sure my fuel's on both, make sure my trim's set for takeoff. I might want to look at some switches. So let's get started. I'm going to just get rolling here and let you see some scenery as I fly. It's not all about the scenery, but that's the wow part. That's the part that it's so realistic now that I've actually flown over and seen my house now. You can actually do that. Now when you get right down to ground level, it's all generated. It's AI, artificial intelligence generated by the algorithms that they use on the data stored. It's Bing data stored in Azure servers. Now if that whole sentence doesn't mean anything, don't worry about it. But the point is that it's sitting in the cloud, tons and tons of satellite data, and it constructs things as you fly near them. All right, so some things from the air are actually flat on the ground, but from the air they look 3D. As you get down closer, you realize they're flat. Other things are actually built up in 3D, so we'll see that as we go along. So let's put let's just go put some fuel in first. I'm going to put the fuel pump on over here, flip the fuel pump on. I'm going to just give it, I better turn some, I'm going to get some power going here so that we can see what's going on. Before I actually did the fuel pump, I should do that because now I can see my fuel flow with my mixture. Anyway, we'll get into more of that later. I can go into more details on checklists, but my fuel's good now. I'm ready to roll. Mixture's in. 1/8 inch on the throttle. Beacon's on. I'm going to come back to this view. I'm going to look left first. Nobody there. Nobody there.
TOS system test. Okay.
All right. Prop clear. And we're good. That beeping noise is our alternator's not on. We got low voltage. That should help. There we go. And our avionics now, we'll put those on. That should give us our COM2. And that looks good. And again, you know, I say it looks good. You can go in like this and have a real good look at it. For those who haven't used a G1000, I've got a whole seminar on that. A brief essentials on that so you can get comfortable with it, and then a whole course. I haven't actually finished the whole course yet, where you go a lot more detailed into it. But the main things we're looking for here is all we care about right now is what are the frequencies of our COM1 and our COM2, our main flying instruments. Here's our artificial horizon, our degrees of bank. Here's our directional gyro. Oh, it's not actually a gyro, you guys, anymore. But there is a backup for that, of course. There's a backup altimeter, a backup HI, and a backup airspeed indicator. All right, and you have to have those backups in case things happen, right? In here, the inset one, now I've actually got a Semiotic real one in front of me so I can push the buttons, but I would normally come down here, push that button, and just say inset is off. I don't need that map because it's going to be over here. But, you know, we're not going to do a whole lesson on the G1000, but it certainly is easy. And this is the built-in Cessna 172 that's in the new flight simulator. This one's the built-in. You actually have to have the premium or deluxe to go get the conventional gauges one, believe it or not. Usually you think it'd be the other way around. But. All right, so from here, what do I need to do? Well, this is my airspeed indicator. This is my altimeter. This is my barometric pressure. And this is my artificial horizon. What else do we need, right? Now, typically, I mean, what I'm going to do, and in a lot of the courses that you guys have followed, we're just flying VFR anyway. We're glancing at instruments to make sure things are fine. We're looking at airspeeds for proper takeoffs, etc. So we'll come back out here now. I just want to step outside the plane for a second just to show you what's happening. In fact, I'm going to get rid of all of these labels. I don't really need all that mess and all those people that are flying improperly. So I'm just going to go to escape. I'm going to go to general, and I'm going to go to traffic. And I'm just going to go into the traffic, show the nameplates off. For traffic, for aircraft traffic type, let's put some AI offline. In other words, they'll throw some in there. So you will see some traffic now and then, AI airliners. So, all right. Oh, general aviation, I got it up full. Airliners, actually, we shouldn't be seeing those at all at this airport. So they'll still throw them in. And if this were live with people like you and I flying, you'll see them all coming in and doing all kinds of stuff here. So that's crazy. All right. So that's what we'll do. We'll save that. Escape out of here, escape out of there, and we're good. You notice the skies are clear. Now there is some kind of traffic there, but it gets harder to see traffic now, doesn't it? Now that's an AI traffic. All right, and then as you look around the airplane, you'll see there's one on the ground too. All right, there's one taking off. So these are all AI generated now, and the runway 26 is the current runway. Now, what I'll do first is hit my scroll lock for my ATC, tune in the weather first. Let's see how that goes. Should come through on the radio. It's having trouble coming through on the radio, but anyway, we can see here winds 281 at 3, which is negligible. Visibility 9, sky condition clear. Temperature 14, dew point. And altimeter 29902. Now typically you'd be looking at your plane when this is happening. So we'll just come back here like this. 29902 is what we actually have. And the runway is 26, 29902. And you change that up here with the barometric outer dial. All right, so we've got everything we need. All we need to do now, let's tune the traffic now on 122.9. Looks like it's not, yeah, it says not in use tower. That is the normal tower frequency. They want us to tune traffic on 122.9, which is like a mandatory frequency, so it's like there's nobody there. So I'll just announce taxi and head over. You can see in here now, I have had it coming through on the radio. Let me just have a quick look here. Maybe I need to change it over to COM 2 or COM 1. COM 1 and 118.2. Yeah, I'm trying to tune 122.9. Doesn't seem to like my COM radio, so let me just try COM 2. Okay, announce taxi. Let's see if that works. Yep, taxiing to runway 8. Now they're actually saying runway 8 here, so we'll do 8. Sure, that must be the taxiway now. So I'm just going to collapse that. Let's go. Take off my parking brake. Now I could have them push me back just for effect. It's a nice effect, but I'm just going to leave that for now, you guys. Runway 8's over to our left, but it's kind of blocked over there, so I'm just going to go here. Now, when you're taxiing, certainly with a single screen, you've got to look around, make sure you're not hitting anything. Crashes are detected by default, unless you turn them off. So I could crash into anything, and that's realistic. All right, so here we are. 26 is over on the left. Hey, there's somebody taking off. And 8 is over here on the right. Now, you notice everybody's doing 26. So you know what? Just so there's no confusion, even though they said I'm supposed to go to 8, it's obvious that even the AI traffic's using 26, so I'm going to use 26. But that's the problem right now with the AI stuff. If there were, I was on earlier today, and there was a traffic controller telling us which runway to go on, but lots of people were ignoring. But again, you turn off all the live traffic of those who are just here to have fun, and you would turn it on for serious traffic for the rest of us. And then things get normal. There's someone taking off. Now I'm still not going onto the runway. I'm just going to go over here, get down to the start of 26. Now a lot of people will start right at the runway, and I'm urging you not to do that in Flight Simulator. They start on the runway ready to roll. Fine on an airport where there isn't anybody, but if you've got anyone at all that's coming and joining you, there's just nothing realistic about planes sitting on top of each other, right? All right, so I'm using my toe brakes, looking for traffic. As you know, there's this guy over here that's getting ready to take off. There's a 172. I thought there was another one there too, but. And then again, you can also jump out. Oh, there's someone that just spawned in front of us. They weren't there before. He just said, you're too slow. He's going to taxi out there. And there's a Cessna still sitting on the runway, but maybe he's leaving. So even though they're AI traffic and we can just ignore them and run them over or whatever, I still prefer to just wait, and hopefully they'll move. Yep. Now you can see there is actually a couple of them there. They just ended up coming apart. That's what happens when you start there. Here's someone landing. Yeah, I think they might be landing on 24 though, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to land on 24. Just so that you realize, that the traffic on 26 is crazy. All right, so let's just do that so you can see what that's all about. Select a runway. I'm going to select 24. I'm going to have my own traffic pattern so that I'm not in their way, and I'm going to remain in the pattern. So that's what it would say. Taxiing to runway 24, left touch and go. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, and so I better get moving once I've made that announcement. And I better jump back inside so I know what I'm doing. So now 24, instead of following the circle all the way around here, we're just going to cut across to 24. This is where we're going to be landing to. For those of you who've looked at this before on this airport, there's 24 right there. And you can confirm that by looking at your, here, I'll just get out of the way for those that are landing on 26. And typically we would want to kind of position ourselves so we can see the runway numbers. Yeah, there's 24 up ahead of us. And just stop there because it is a short runway. And I look at my heading indicator right here. Let me just have a closer look here. And you can see it is 24, so we're confirmed there too. And what I didn't do was the run up, and I should do that right now. I'm trying to keep the video from being like a half-hour video, you guys. So let's still do that anyway, just so you can see that in action. Hey, someone saw me on the runway and said, I think I'll just go around. Okay, so I'll just put the parking brake on. Let's do a run up real quick here. I'm surprised my other Garmin isn't on. It is here in front of me, but it isn't over there. That is strange. Yeah, I don't know why. Don't know if we have to. It should be on. But anyway, that's fine. We'll just come down here. Look at our RPMs. Now, you can't see the RPMs. That's crazy. It's normally over here. And if this one's turned off, then it's over here. So I think for the sake of, let's just try this. Should come back to here. Okay, so this way you can see it. Let's use this for now because I'm not sure why that's inoperative. So here you can see I'm up to 17, maybe 1800 for this test. You guys just bear with me. We'll just do a quick magneto test. Now I know in a simulator it's going to be fine. You can set failures, but you know, typically they're fine. So I'm sitting at 1800. I'm now going to take the magneto. Some of you don't know how to do this or you haven't seen it. We're testing the engine under stress is what we're really doing. We're also checking that everything's in the green. So we're looking at oil pressures in the green. The fuel flow is normal. The vacuum is there. We need vacuum for the old gauges. But what we're going to do is use the start button here to go to the left, to the right, and then back to both. Now you got to go back to both times so you don't. Now I happen to have the switch on my panel here in front of me. I'm going to go over to right. I'm looking at that RPMs and I see it drop to 1720. So I lost 80. Right, maybe even 90. Back to both. There's 2 spark plugs in every cylinder, so that's what we're testing. And now I'm going to go to right and just see. It shouldn't be much different than about 50 RPMs between them and 150 total. So here we're only dropping about 80, and then back to both. So we're good. We also take it back to idle, make sure it'll idle without stalling. We typically put carb heat on if it's an old carbureted engine, so we can make sure that that works too. And here we see it's idling just fine. We also want to check the, let me just go down here for a second, you guys. You typically want to check also that your rich is working. I have a vernier rich, so I can just turn it. As I turn it, it'll come out a little. And your RPMs, I didn't mean for this to be a whole lesson, you guys, I'm sorry. Let's just do a quick one here. The RPMs, as you turn it out, will change. If you're looking up here, you guys see this? I'm at 650, so it dropped. So I'm going to just take it back in a bit. It should jump up to 660. There we go. So that's the proper setting. Now, for takeoff, I'll do full rich, but that was a good test. Sometimes you also test by just pulling it back till it drops off. Yeah, it's dropping off. Okay, so we're good. All right, we're good, you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. Let's go fly. Hey, a biplane doing some tricks. Nice. All right, let's just jump out here real quick. Let's go find him while we're here. Where is he? He's gone. All right, jump back in. Let's go. Let's go fly where they are. All right, parking brakes off. Transponder. I just want to put this on alt while I'm there. You guys got to do it properly or else it bugs me. Transponder's on. City Tower, Gulf November Juliet's on 24. Taking off. Now I'm going to leave it on a single a single display here so that you can see the RPMs. I don't know what's happening with the other one. Just so happens that when you record, all of a sudden it's not there. So we're on full, pulling back a little bit of pressure to take it off the nose wheel. Try to align ourselves with the rudder. Yeah, we've got airspeeds alive. Here it is at 34. Here, let me just show you on this view. Airspeeds alive, we're good. Somewhere around 55, I offer the nose. At 60 or so, it starts to lift off. We're good, just like normal flying, you guys. And then you'll notice that we're probably going to settle in somewhere around 74. So I'll just take it back here. Get this in. My trim, probably didn't even check my trim, but let's just make sure. We want to settle in at 74 or so, 75, 76 maybe. Here we're at 80. Okay, there, I'll come back now. All right, and I'm off my target, so let's just come back to here. And while I'm doing this, let's have a look around. Look, that's looking pretty. There's Ontario Place Ball over there. It's looking pretty good. We're going to see some more of that once we get up there. Over here, water. Yep, back there's the island. Can't get back there. Okay. So let's do a quick look like this. Look back. Yeah, there's where we're leaving from. See, my alignment's horrible because I'm talking and playing. But these are the kind of views you can do. Let's just do our circuit while we're here. We are plenty high enough to do our left turn. We're too far out really for a glide. If we had an engine failure now, we wouldn't make the airport, but well, that's fine. We'll get back somehow. Yep. So that flashing is the altimeter setting. I got it set for 1200, and you know, that's where I want to pretty much be on my circuit. It's a 1250 circuit in here. Let's take some of that off. Let's come back here so I get a good idea of how this looks. And now let's just have a quick look out here. I mean, this is gorgeous stuff. There's the city. We'll show you another one as we get closer, but just a gorgeous thing, right? And don't pay attention too much about the accuracy of my flying. If I'm trying to show things, then it's hard to concentrate on flight characteristics. I'm pretty much doing a circuit. I am too high. I'm just cranking the, here, I'll pull back some RPMs here on a level flight. And we'll try and get this thing leveled up. So you can see that for a runway 24 circuit, I am too high right now. I'm just going to push down a bit, trim it, and pull back a bit more. I want to be about maybe 2200 for RPMs. All right, so while we're here, let's have a quick look here. And this is gorgeous stuff. There's Toronto Islands, and I've actually sailed in these areas right here and anchored. All right, but over here is our runway 24 here. Runway 26, the longer one. Yacht clubs here. Here's the Royal Yacht Club here, CN Tower, Sky Dome, and the city skyscraper. This really is full of trees, you guys. That really is accurate. And as I'm doing that, I kind of went off course. But that's all right. Now, over here on the left is what's called the Eastern Gap. So we're right about there. It's coming into view. That's the Eastern Gap. And for traffic reasons and noise reasons, that's where they want us to go through. So you don't do a normal rectangle through here. You actually go up to the gap like this. It's called the Eastern Gap. There's a western one over beside the airport. And this is where we're doing our turn. City Tower, this is Gulf November Juliet, left base for 24, touch and go. And so I'm just saying that out loud right now, you guys, just for effect, but typically, let me just get up here. We're too far from the runway yet. So I'm bringing it back to about 17, bleed off. You can see now I get into the white area for my flaps. I'm going to give it one flap. That'll take me down to about 80 knots. And a second flap will take me probably to 70, and I'll trim that out. Now, because it's runway 24, you can't go right over the city and then come back into land. So you got to stay over the water. All these skyscrapers and things. And you got to kind of just slide in like this. Now, I'm out of the way of traffic for 26, but keep in mind I'll be crossing over the runway 26. There's my 500-foot range. Remember, the elevation is 250. Someone's actually taking off on 24 in my direction, runway 6. That's what it looks like. So there's lots of activity going on. Someone's coming up, a great big one's coming up on 8. So there's still lots of traffic going on in this this airport, that's for sure. But anyway, while we're doing this and while I'm lining up there, here's the city. Look, really is gorgeous, unbelievable. So, you know, I'm not here just to show off the scenery, but certainly that's an important part. So what are we at here? Okay, let me just pull back some power. Let's just trim that out a bit. I want to be somewhere around 70 on touchdown, maybe 68. So here we are on 24. Now you can see someone's pulling out onto 26. So I'm going to give it more flap. I'm going to stay up. I'm going to be careful now. I'm going to be in stall, almost stall range. I'm staying above that plane. But if I get too far down, like that, there I went over the plane, good, and then now I'll come down. And that was a very rough landing, but that was because the plane was in my way. Now, let me just show you guys what we can do from here. I'm going to turn off. Let's just turn off to here. So I'm not in the way for anybody. Let me just show you what was in my way. Oh, I guess he's gone now. Oh, he's still there. So, and look at that. I mean, yeah. So it just gives you an idea. Now there's the city skyline. Now what you saw me do earlier, let me just put my flaps up and clean up here. Flaps are up. Let me just take the altimeter, let's take the transponder back to standby. Back. And normally you'd note time down and all the rest. But let me just say this now. There's a mode here that's beautiful. You saw some of the camera modes here, left and right and all that normal stuff. You saw me step outside and look around the plane. And you also saw me use my mouse, my right click on my mouse to do things. That guy coming in for a landing, let's watch that. Lots of speed coming in. Now what you can do, here's the next part you guys I want you to see. This has got to be the most awesome thing. And that is, I'm going to press the insert key on my keyboard. And now I'm going to use, believe it or not, oh, I better give it some more power here. See, it's running a bit rough. Put on my parking brake. Take it up to 1,000 maybe. I can see when I'm in the drone camera nothing happens. Let me come back in here. Sorry guys, it's just that I'm still getting used to this thing. Parking brake on. Good. No, we missed that guy. Well, there's more. And so while you're, and let me just give the RPM up to 1,000. And nothing happened there while I was outside the plane. So as soon as you're in, as soon as you hope that you've got autopilot on if you go into drone mode. So I'll take it up to 1,000 now for my RPM. You can see that right there. All right, so, and there's someone way up there. Now let me just show you that this is the one I wanted to show you is Control Insert. Click Control, or just the insert key. And now I'm using an Xbox controller to step outside the plane and go walking. Now I can also, it's a drone really, you guys, so look, I can look up here. I mean, this is gotta be, this is so, you just can't do this at an airport, you know? I mean, you can't fly a drone at an airport without clearance from the tower, of course. You can see something going on. I can hear traffic somewhere. Can you see it? I can hear it. It's really got the engines wailing. Anyway, so the things that you can do here is now I want to move over here. Maybe come down to his level. Let's follow this guy as he takes off. Looks like a Baron, does it? Anytime. Go ahead. But, you know, as you know, once you get on a runway, you should move. But lots of people fly here and they're just having fun. Here's someone having some fun. All right. I was hoping we'd just see him take off and follow him. Look at this guy up top. He is just having a ball. If I could learn to control it. Anyway. It's an air show. But anyway, I thought we'd see more. Earlier, before I started the video recording, I must have had a dozen or so people here all the time. I mean, on top of each other, landing on each other. But there's where we landed, right there, runway 24. And then we pulled off over there, and there we are sitting right there. This guy's just having a ball. Here comes somebody, let's follow him. Just want to follow somebody who actually goes, takes off and goes and does something. I mean, this has got to be the coolest thing. Let's chase them with the drone. Here's someone that thinks they're going to come in and they're probably just doing a flyby up top here. Mamma mia. Something you'd never see at Toronto on an airport. Oh, I almost followed him, and then I got disoriented. Yeah, so this is, I hope this has given you an idea of scenery, and given you an idea of what's going on. I mean, things can be pretty hairy here, that's for sure. There's that, was it a DA? Was it a diamond? DA 40 probably. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Follow him quick. I won't be able to keep up with him. I mean, we didn't have this capability before, you guys. I mean, talk about learning. I mean, if everybody's doing things right, you can learn a lot here. Oh, there we are, sitting down on the grass. And here goes this guy. Finally, he's leaving. He must have been doing some checks, some proper checks. So that's just to give you an idea, you guys. I could sit here with the drone camera, but that's not really what I like doing. I like actually flying, and that's really what we want to do. The Toronto skyline, I know this city well, of course, it's my hometown. Look at this traffic going on here. The next thing I'll do in another video, I mean, there's going to be a whole bunch more videos come out. First, I have to refresh a lot of the courses that I made, because now I have more realistic scenery for VFR navigation out on and GPS and G1000, and there's lots of things that I still need to redo. But additionally, just the fact that there's water here, we want to start using some of the water planes too and do some water landings, which are going to be a lot of fun. But a lot of this stuff, I mean, some have said, well, you know, can you go over and look around the islands? Sure. And this is an amazing thing, you know, like these are all real things that you're seeing here. Now, it may seem slow, but it is a drone, and it is the airport, although it is a city airport, it's pretty big. So you can go here and now start heading up the canal where all the sailors go. And this is typically full of sailors. I mean, there's sailboats galore, powerboats left and right. 3 main ferry lines from the coast, from the mainland over here to the islands. But there are some people who will want to take this now and just start looking around. But I would take an amphibious plane and just travel around with that, bounce around and see what's going on. But you know, this is just unbelievable. I'll come down here to water level as if I'm in a boat, you know, and it's just unbelievable what they've got here, you know. So that's something to think about. I'm going to jump back out of this mode. You've seen a bit of it now, you don't need to see that forever. Back out into Toronto Island area. Oops, 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 oops. Yep, and he disappeared because his wing touched the water. Anyway, hope that's a good insight for you. Let me just press insert and come back into the plane, and let's just taxi the thing back over and park it and close her down if you want to see that part happen. Typically you'd talk to traffic control, but I can see it's just a mandatory frequency thing. Okay, clear the runway, yep, for sure. And then can they give me a... Oh, so I don't even have an option to go back now, so I'll just close her down. A couple of biplanes, look, one's going on 24 over there on the right, and another one's going on 26 on the left here. Nice. I'm sure that's stock, that's built in. So is this one, and this is stock built into standard. This, the one I'm using, the version I'm using right now is the deluxe. I wanted to try everything, and I will be trying everything as we go along. Let me just get over to a taxiway here. Hello. Yeah, this is something that you'd never have to do in normal life, is that watch out for oncoming planes. Now, you can certainly turn off AI traffic and just, as simulator typically is, with no traffic going on. In X-Plane, I've got global traffic. In FSX, I've got some other kind of traffic to make traffic happen. Here, I'll just make sure that's up, make sure I'm rich, make sure everything's good here. Taxi light, landing lights off. Just doing a few checks here, you guys, and then maybe maybe they'll give me the option to taxi. Yep, taxi. Yep. No, but it's not doing anything. Okay, I'll have to figure that out later too. This is still new to you guys. It's first day it's released, so I'm just playing. I'm going to go back over to where I was parked. Look at the left. Nobody there. To the right. We're good. A little fast. Slow her down. That was a taste anyway. Yeah, there is pushback, by the way. One of you did ask me that, and let's just give you an idea right here. So let's say I can't go. Typically you can't because there's planes over on the left there. It's almost like a closed loop, right? So they won't push you with the propeller running, but certainly we can, let me just do a quick check here. Magnetos are good. Mixture there. Off it goes. I'll leave the battery on, I want to request a pushback here. Now fuel is a shift F. They're not showing me runway stuff. So we're all learning this together, right? So let's go to controls. Let's go to keyboard. And we're going to search for pushback. Search by name. Toggle pushback, Shift P. Okay, so there's how you find out, you guys. You know what? That's the same as an FSX. I should have known. All right, Shift P. So with the propeller off, and this is something, you know, some people think you can do it while it's on. Not when you got a prop. Anyway, Shift P. And he should, look, he just looked around behind him. He says, oh, you want me? So let's just go outside the plane. Hey, buddy, you can't fit in there. See this guy in action here. Pretty well, I think. That's it. Easy does it. Yeah, that fellow just landed and then turned off. He had to go for dinner or something. So that's pretty cool. I mean, we've seen that with add-ons too, you guys. This default outside screen is really good when you're flying too, because it gives you all your vitals. Now, a lot of people do fly like this. They fly from behind the plane with all of the vitals in front of them. They can see their engine, they can see their airspeed, they can see their altitude. So, you know, this is a lot of flight simmers will use this kind of screen. Now, I mentioned before, oops, I better tell them to stop at some point. I think you can push 1 or 2 to go left or right. I'll have to look that up again, or maybe it's the cursor keys. Hold it, hold it, hold it. No, that didn't work. Anyway, I better Shift P. There we go, and away he goes. Thanks, buddy. And then we can start up and away we go. By the way, that guy that disappeared, it was because he was so close, but he was still there. That's what they'll do if they overlap. They'll just sort of ghost out. Anyway, that's all I'm going to show you for the moment. I wanted to just give you an idea what it's like. I need to learn a lot. I need to learn more about outside views, inside views. I need to learn more about, you know, apart from the flying stuff, how to get around and look at the thing. At least I figured out some of these things. And these views I'm showing you are coming from my Alpha yoke. They were just built-in mappings for my yoke. But what I did have to do was go into controls. That is annoying, isn't it? think that would. There we go. Let's take that off too. Good. Don't have to keep hearing that, but just looking at the controls just real quickly here before we finish here. Looking at the controls is an important part because each of your peripherals you've used before, it might not map them. For instance, over here, my Alpha Flight controls mapped everything beautifully. All right, and that's what I'm using for even for the camera stuff too, right? And then you can see and hear what it'll do. But so that was a blessing because I didn't have to do anything. My trim wheel, it didn't really know what to do with it. My flight velocity trim wheel is really just 2 buttons. But this is the one that it didn't have a clue, and I had to set it up manually. All right, and this one has, this is the Redbird Alloy TH1 has a flap switch. It has a mixture and a throttle. It didn't know anything, so I couldn't fly at all when I first started. And I had to just go in here, and it's not hard to do. I mean, you click on it to change it like this. You can clear it like this, cancel it, and what is this? Decrease flaps, all right? So, oops, not clear. Clear current input. So now what we can do is just simply, this is decrease flaps, so it's flaps up. I just push my up button and away it goes on my flaps. So that's how easy it can be. You can make it see what you have. And then save it. So once that was set up, I was fine. These two things I had to pay attention to. The Xbox controller for the drone camera, I just plugged in the USB and it just worked. And you press the insert key for that. So you know, these things you have to learn. I mean, I learned a lot from beta and alpha testers who were playing around, and they taught a lot. You know, for all of us who tuned into that stuff, they taught us a lot back then. All right, that's it, you guys. Let's go. Let's finish off with a little bit of airport watching. There's 2426. Sure, let's watch some planes. And we'll finish off with that. It's almost like a fisheye camera by the looks of that scenery. Look at the scenery tilting as we move. Look at them all lined up. This is nice to see. Now, with live traffic, it's nice to see too, with all the people who are actually here. You don't think about it when you're in the older simulators. You don't know how many people are actually here. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again.